Today's video is going to be all about the only 5 designer perfumes that you need in your collection. So if you want to find out more, then please do keep on watching. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if it's the first time you are visiting. Thank you so much for joining me today. As I already mentioned in the intro, today's video is going to be all about the only 5 designer perfumes that you need in your collection. Now, I've already filmed a niche version of this video, and I already had planned to make a designer version too, but lots of you wrote in the comments that you would like to see the designer version. So here we are. This is my designer take on my previous video. And this is not me saying these are the best 5 designer perfumes ever, or even necessarily that these are my favorite 5 designer perfumes ever, but these are 5 versatile perfumes that can see you through a number of different occasions and through different times of the year. So now that's out of the way, let's get started on the first fragrance. The first fragrance is from Chanel, and this is Chance of Fraiche, and this is my favorite Chance flanker personally, just because I feel like it's so versatile. It suits so many different types of occasions, and I feel like you can wear this throughout any season, even though this is more of a fresh fragrance. It's definitely versatile in the way that I feel like everyone should have a fragrance of this composition within their fragrance wardrobe. It is a citrusy, kind of light, woody and aromatic scent. Very uplifting, very calming in my opinion. It's definitely got a beautiful sillage, and it does get lots of compliments too. Now, I've only recently re-added this into my collection, and I feel like it's just such a classic, and I highly recommend this if you don't know where to start your perfume collection. Now, I'm sure many of you who are watching this already has a vast collection with more than 5 fragrances, and you're just curious to see what I'm going to recommend, and that's okay too. But these are 5 fragrances that I just think are truly versatile, and Chance of Fraiche, I feel like is a very loved fragrance. It's not necessarily the most loved Chance fragrance from Chanel, but I feel like if you're looking for a fresh, everyday uplifting kind of scent, then you should definitely check out this one. It's very fresh up top. You've got lots of lemon. There's a water hyacinth note in here, so it's lightly floral, not too in your face at all. You've got musk, you've got iris, you've got a little bit of amber, and then lots of beautiful soft woody notes. Extremely versatile, like I've already said, which is why it's made this list, and I'm so glad that I've re-added this into my collection. The next fragrance is from Dolce & Gabbana, and this is the Only One Intense EDP, and this is such a beautiful and underrated fragrance in my opinion. This is quite a sexy floral. There's a little bit of coconut in here. There's a little bit of woodiness too, but it's definitely a very sexy kind of jasmine floral. It's got a watery coconut in here. There's a little bit of fruitiness up top, but not too much at all. It's got some tart green apple and a little bit of mandarin, but I mostly get a very beautiful creamy jasmine, a little bit of orange blossom. The coconut is prominent, but it's not too much. You've got lots of vanilla in the base. You've got cashmeran. I think this is such a fantastic designer fragrance, and if you have never sampled this one, I would highly recommend doing so. So underrated. I feel like it suits all times of the year, all different types of occasions, but this is one of the more sexy designer fragrances in my opinion. It kind of gives that strong femme fatale vibes. You can absolutely wear this during the day, you could wear it to work, but I do think this would make a fantastic kind of date night scent, or a scent where you want to feel sexy, powerful and strong. I think it's really gorgeous, has great longevity, great scent bubble, and it's definitely one that will get you compliments. I recommend trying this out. Make sure you try out the Only One Intense version, because there is a difference between the two, but it's definitely a versatile scent that will see you through all different types of occasions. The next fragrance was a little bit of a no-brainer for me. I think it's one of the best designer fragrances, and they have something for everyone within their flankers. And the fragrance is Guerlain Mon Guerlain. I have the EDP here. To be honest, I recommend all of them. There is something really for everyone. I think the intense version is gorgeous, and I think it's called Bloom of Roses. But Mon Guerlain is a vanillic fragrance. It's a little bit floral. There's lots of lavender in here too. It's sweet, but not too sweet. It's a massive compliment getter, and the longevity is absolutely incredible on the EDP at the very least. There's a little bit of bergamot up top. There's some iris in the mid. There's some light florals throughout. There's tonka bean in the base, and then there's a very unique licorice note in here, and I feel like it's either a love or hate note, but I would say Mon Guerlain is quite widely loved, so I'm sure a lot of you are loving that licorice too. But yeah, I just feel like this is such an OG in the designer world. I think this is going to be around for years to come. This can be worn anything from casually, it can be worn to work, but it could even be worn as a black tie occasion fragrance, which is why I think this is incredibly versatile. It will get you compliments, but more important than that, you are going to smell great and you are going to think you smell great too. I can absolutely smell this when I wear it. I have a great scent bubble around myself, but equally lots of people are going to smell it around you. Such a classic, and for good reason. I highly recommend this one without a shadow of a doubt. So yeah, that was Guerlain's Mon Guerlain. The next fragrance that I want to recommend is from Chloe, and this is Nomade Naturelle Jasmin Intense. And again, I would recommend any of the Nomade line in this list. I personally prefer the Naturelle collection, and this is the newest release, which is the Jasmin Intense. Only just got this one in my collection, but I did want to highlight it in today's video. So Demi Rawling is the one that put me onto this fragrance, and I sampled it at the airport on the way to my honeymoon. I didn't buy it at that point, but I kept thinking about it. And I feel like the Nomade collection is incredibly unique in the designer realm. It smells very different in my opinion, and the whole kind of collection has a very prominent date note, which is gorgeous, rich and sticky with a beautiful sweetness. And then they have a Mirabelle plum note and oak moss in them, and it just is a really unique designer fragrance in my opinion. Now, this one is obviously the Jasmin Intense version, so you've got a dose of jasmine in here, and it's quite a beachy jasmine note. It's very sweet. It's not indolic in any way. It's just a beautiful, soft jasmine touch to the original Nomade Naturelle lineup. You get that tart sweetness from the Mirabelle. You get that sticky denseness from the date. The oak moss gives this a slight earthiness. You've got pear up top, and then there's lots of vanilla and sandalwood in the base. This is what I would describe as a cool girl designer scent. It's a little bit unique, so definitely sample it before you buy it. It's not necessarily one of the more mass appealing designer scents in any way, but I think it's just an incredible one to have in your collection. You're gonna smell different if you wear this one, but in a good way. And yeah, I would highly recommend the Nomade lineup, but most specifically either the Naturelle version or the Naturelle Jasmin Intense. And the last fragrance that I'm going to recommend is from Dior, and this one is Dior Addict. In my opinion, such an underrated fragrance from Dior. It's an absolute classic. It's been around for a while, and it deserves a lot more attention than it gets. It's a fantastic composition, and I would say this is more of an evening date night scent, or for those of you that like something a little bit deeper with a little bit of a backbone. It's not your light, airy floral. It's definitely more of a deep, dark and dense floral. It gives me kind of spiced cake vibes, which is really weird because the notes do not sound like that at all when you read them on paper. There's a prominent blackberry note in here, which is so gorgeous. And then you've got lots of unique florals in here. There's silk tree blossom. There's a night blooming cerise. You've got jasmine, you've got orange blossom. There's also vanilla and tonka bean, and there's lots of vanilla and lots of tonka bean in here. And then there's this rich sandalwood in the base too. I feel like there are some light spices in here, maybe like a nutmeg, something like that. It definitely gives me a kind of spiced fruitcake vibe, like I said, with that vanilla, with that tonka bean. There's light, gorgeous florals in here. I think this fragrance is truly incredible. If you've never smelt it, definitely head down to your local store and give this one a sample on the skin. And if you do know this fragrance and have sampled it before, please do let me know what you think about it in the comments. But I would highly recommend this one in the collection. It's a classic that will see you through all year round, all different occasions, and will last you a lifetime if you love the scent profile. So those were the 5 designer perfume recommendations that I truly feel are very versatile and are staples in a collection. Please do let me know what you think about the 5 I mentioned, if you have tried them, and even if you haven't, are you interested in any of the fragrances that I mentioned today? But what I want to know is, if you were to start your perfume collection from scratch, which 5 perfumes would you pick and why? I'm super curious, and I would love to hear your feedback in the comments below, and hopefully I might find some new recommendations whilst reading your comments. But thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure as always. I hope to see you in a future video to come. Thank you so much, and goodbye.